Hello, Degens! Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I am the perfect one, AJ. And with me, as always, is the man with all the stats, all the numbers, the one, the only, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, how you doing on this Sunday night?
AJ, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a little weekend full of winning for most of my teams, so happy about that.
Hell yeah, you'll love to see that. We'll talk about NFL and how good the Packers look in the next episode of Degenerate Takes. But Noah, this one is strictly about college sports. And let's go ahead and talk about one of your teams right off the bat. You have the Golden Gophers and Wisconsin. Golden Gophers coming out big. You were at this game, correct, Noah?
I was at this game, yeah. It was a fantastic
How
game.
how electric was it? Like, can you take me paint me a picture, paint me a word picture, Noah?
It was a great environment, great game environment. A lot of Wisconsin fans, but that's pretty typical for this rivalry when the games are being played in Minnesota. I wish, but if the Gophers can continue being a decent or good team, I think that'll start to change over the years, um, filling more of the stadium with home fans. But it was great. My favorite part was at the end. I was, you know, joined the field storming,
Oh,
and
nice,
they
dude.
started and they started blasting "Jump Around," which obviously is Wisconsin's big song. That was pretty fun. I love
Just
the
trolling everywhere.
love the little bit of shade there at the end too.
I love it, dude. I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of all the pettiness, and yeah, and that's what you're gonna get with rivalry week, bro. Let's go all the way back to Thursday to a game that we didn't understand the line, a game that we knew was going to be a blowout, and it essentially was. Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Were you surprised at all of that outcome whatsoever? Because I looked at that game and then checked in about halftime, and it was like, oh yeah, this is about where I thought we'd be.
Yeah, I mean, ended up being a 10-point game, but Ole Miss the better team this year, and you know, as I've said multiple times before in the past, the better team doesn't always win. But in this game, the better team did win.
Yes, sir. Better team absolutely did win. Noah, where was that? Speaking of a better team that absolutely won, and another line that was just kind of out there and weird, but in classic Big Ten fashion, didn't really get exciting until the end of the game. Iowa, number 16, going over Nebraska 28-21. What are your thoughts on this game? Because this was kind of boring until the fourth quarter where Iowa decided to put up 19 points.
I wouldn't even say it's Iowa decides to put up 19 points. It was just the classic Scott Frost and the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the wheels falling off the fucking bus. And they showed up for 3 quarters, and then they just fell the fuck apart with a couple fumbles, safety given up. Just terrible, terrible, terrible fourth quarter.
No, yeah, it was absolutely miserable. Scott Frost just like I don't know a better way to explain what happened. I don't understand how you can drop a ball that bad. You're consistent, you got 7 points, 7 points, 7 points. You're only scoring a touchdown a game. Like that's not I mean a touchdown a quarter. Like that's not impressive by any means. But I mean I guess it is against this Iowa team. But then just to allow them to come back 19 points. This guy, how much longer does he have on his deal? Because he's got to be.
Well, they just like extended him or gave him a
Oh, that's
reaffirmation of
right.
like whatever this season. They were like, Scott Frost is our guy. I'm like, I don't know how you can have like a 30% win percentage over what 4 years or something and still have a job. But
I mean, is there no one else? Like, I mean, Lincoln Riley was apparently, and we'll get to that in a second, but Lincoln Riley was out there. Apparently, there's got to be other names out there, that you can more
I mean, I don't
deserving,
know.
better.
No, but Lincoln Riley wouldn't fucking leave Oklahoma for Nebraska.
No, not Oklahoma for Nebraska.
Um, yeah. Scott Frost, 15-27 record as the Nebraska
Jesus
coach.
Christ.
Four
That's
straight losing
awful.
seasons.
That
Yeah.
is terrible. How can he do that? How does someone let him do that? How does the athletic director go to sleep at night knowing that Scott Frost is 15 and 27? That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, including a 5-20 record in one possession games.
Oh my God, 5-20 and one possession. Not even, dude. What the fuck is going on? Does Nebraska just
Um,
enjoy being mediocre?
yeah, well, I think it comes down to like it boils down because clearly they have the talent. It's one of those things that they just have a losing culture and
Yeah,
losing mentality.
and you can have all the recruits in the world and everything like that, but if you don't have the culture set there, you can't win. You can't win football games. It's simple as that. Another team that figured out that they can't win football games whatsoever. Let's go ahead talk about Lincoln Riley and Oklahoma losing to Oklahoma State 33-37. Noah, what is your big takeaway from this game?
A huge, well-needed comeback win from Oklahoma State,
Absolutely.
coming from behind. I think outscoring Oklahoma 14-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yep. 13-0.
Um, yeah, sorry, but yeah, they needed
You
this
should be.
win. They needed it bad, and they went out and they got it. So Oklahoma State keeping their playoff hopes and dreams alive for the time being. We'll see how this next week unfolds, but they're going to the Big 12 championship against Baylor. A little rematch. Oklahoma State, I believe, beat
Oh yeah.
Baylor by 10 or 14 points when they played last time. So
Yeah, I believe so. It's going to be hell of a game. Shout out Oklahoma State. I hate Oklahoma more than anything. Spencer Rattler, Caleb, whatever. Fuck them. Fuck that team. Speaking of a guy that can go fuck himself, we got to talk about it because we're talking about Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley. He's going to USC, bro. Just, I mean, after having a pretty 10-2 so right now with Oklahoma, not a bad record, 7-2 in their division. They can't, like, Oklahoma would not have fired Lincoln Riley. This is a move that he just strictly wants to be on the beach. They offered him enough money to have him move down there and go chill out at the beach and have a mistress in Malibu. You know, he wants that lifestyle,
well,
and I
if
can't blame him.
I think they're paying him like 12 million a year or some
No, they're
ungodly
not.
number like that.
No, they're not. They are not paying him 12 mil a year, 20 mil a year, whatever you said. He is
Not
not
20.
worth that.
I think I saw 12, but let me double check that. It was some ungodly number.
That is already ungodly. He doesn't deserve that kind. I don't know. I might take that back. He did really good with one of the worst quarterbacks in college football in Spencer Rattler, and he still managed to rattle off like 5 wins with the kid, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
What are you
I
seeing
don't
on
remember.
his
I don't
contract?
remember how many games he started. I'm not seeing that the contract details are posted yet. But, it's like rumored that it's some ungodly number. I think.
Some ungodly number with some ungodly house with some ungodly mistress. It's unbelievable. Good for him though.
Yeah, I mean,
Welcome to the
I,
Pac-12,
I
but if you do half decent, you will dog walk this division.
well, I get it because Oklahoma going to the SEC. He doesn't want that competition. He wants to keep riding his
Oh,
10, 11
true.
win seasons. So less
True. Didn't think
competition.
about that.
He'll be able to just rake up the entire like state of California recruiting market.
Yeah, honestly.
He's
Hey,
gonna
come
have
to
no
USC. We're going to have
like
a fucking great time.
he's gonna have no competition in recruiting. USC will probably be back to being a household name.
Dude, that's honestly upsetting.
So
I really wanted Pete Carroll to go back, but I guess that's dead. Anyway, shout out Lincoln Riley. Welcome to the Pac 12. Have fun walking over. U of A will be here for a loss next year.
yeah, I
Just
thought the funniest thing
let
though
us
was
cover at
then
least.
Oklahoma news coming out that they're targeting Cliff Kingsbury. I'm like, yeah, what are you gonna offer him that's gonna get him to?
Bro.
I don't know that they can offer him enough to get him to leave his
Dude,
job
no
right now with the
chance. No,
Cardinals.
not with Kyler Murray playing how he is, this offense running, this defense running, this run we're about to go on after this bye week. There's no chance in hell. Like, yeah, he can be their number one target. Like, that's awesome, but you're going to miss the fucking mark by about a Super Bowl ring. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't get your hopes up too much about that, but
Fine, take away the Super Bowl ring. He ain't fucking leaving. Like, I'm not worried. If
yeah,
I'm a Cardinals
they
fan,
got
I'm not worried about this whatsoever.
yeah, the Cardinals got a good thing going. I can't see a scenario where Oklahoma would be able to like incentivize that job enough for Kingsbury to leave the NFL.
Yeah.
However, I thought it was really funny with Lincoln Riley because he's been, reporters have been asking him all week about like, oh, are you going to LSU, like the LSU job, because those rumors are swirling.
Yep, I
And
remember
he
that.
was like, he was shutting those down, denying them all week long.
Oh
But
yeah, he was
they
like, nah,
never
man.
they, but it's funny because they never asked him about USC or any other job.
No,
So he just kept shutting down the LSU rumors, and turns out he's been
unreal.
in talks with a different school.
Yeah, yeah, and that news just kind of came out of nowhere. That was the last thing I really was expecting to hear out of the college football world, but here we are. Again, welcome to the Pac-12, bud. Let's have a good time.
Yeah, and then, well, I guess the only other big news in the coaching carousel as that starts and gets going is Florida hiring Louisiana Lafayette's coach.
Oh yeah, I'm shocked, honestly. The Raging Cajuns, they were having something going there. What led him to leave, you think? Do you think it was the money? Do you think it was the weather? Do you think it was
What the
the
fuck do you
no
mean?
income taxes?
The fuck do you mean? What led him to leave? He's going to an SEC school from the Sun Belt. Is that not reason enough?
I mean, yeah, but no, we're in the entertainment business. That is not a sexy headline or anything like that. Like, obviously, he left because it's the SEC, better competition, better opportunity, better recruits, and all of that. And he, honestly, with what he did with the Raging Cajuns, he's probably going to do really well with that Florida squad and what he can offer down there. I'm excited to see what he can do. Sad he's leaving the Raging Cajuns, but yeah, another quarterback going to the sunny beaches. Interesting to see how fast those jobs were filled.
Yeah, I mean, and that's only two of them, and then obviously now with Lincoln Riley leaving, that opens up a huge one at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. But Billy Napier in his 4 years at Louisiana Lafayette posting a 39-12 record,
Wow.
um, going to the Sun Belt championship game 3 out of his 4 years there. My dude's a good coach, so we'll see what he can do on a bigger scale.
We will see, and we will be here to follow it and cover it because, I think that's what we do, right, Noah?
I believe so. That is in the job description.
That is in the job description. You'll love to see it. All right, there's 2 doors we can go down. Door number 1 is surprising but not shocking. Door number 2 is probably the biggest what am I watching of the weekend.
Let's start with door 1.
Door number
I'm not
1.
sure which ones you're alluding to here, but
Oh, get ready.
I'll choose door 1.
All right, door number 1.
Let's see where this leads us.
Surprising but not shocking. And I can't believe I'm going to say this because shout out to the shirt dying, RIP. It is the first time in the shirt's history that it is now losing. It is 9-10. So,
You've been
bounce
teetering
that big
line for the last couple weeks, anyways.
I have been, and it really made me as a person and as a sports bettor reflect on how reckless I've been with the shirt in the last couple weeks and the lines and the games I've been picking. And, college football might be winding down, but college basketball is right. It's here. And so keep an eye out on that. Follow us on TikTok at DegenerateTake69. There's some good stuff on there. We're getting Noah on there eventually. We're dealing with some technical issues on that. But once he gets on there, shit will really get rolling, and I'm excited to see that going on. Anyway, door number 1, surprising but not shocking. Ohio State losing at Michigan 42-27. Holy crap. Now, put Ohio State on the shirt, RIP. I was watching the first quarter and I was like, okay, not worried. Second quarter, okay, not worried. It was about halfway through the third quarter where I was like, I lost this bet. I have no chance whatsoever. Even when they were scoring in the fourth quarter, Ohio State, I don't know if it was the snow. I don't know if it was the just lack of preparation, trying to look ahead to the next week and falling short. They just crumbled. CJ Stroud couldn't get anything going, any rhythm or anything offensively. That defense was running
Awful.
wild, brother. But Michigan's defense was running wild.
Okay.
Ohio State's was absolute dog shit. It's like they had never seen football in their life. I couldn't believe what we were seeing. But it's what we got. Shout out Michigan. Shout out to Harbaugh for finally winning the big one.
I was kind of hoping he'd lose again and go 0-9.
Obviously, we both wanted him to lose. We bet on that, but here we are. Shout out to that. So what now? Ohio State's out. Michigan's in. College football playoffs.
If they beat Iowa, which they should.
They should beat Iowa. I do think they'll beat Iowa.
I saw they opened at like 10.5-point favorites. I think that's fine.
Iowa did or Michigan?
Michigan, obviously.
That's fair.
But I think they could have opened as even a little bit of a bigger favorite the way Iowa's been playing as of late.
Yeah, but they beat Nebraska, so Nebraska was favored in the game.
Yeah. Well, that should tell you enough. This is the fact that Iowa was an underdog to fucking Nebraska.
Again, Noah, you and I are both on the same side with that game and that team and everything, so I agree, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on, but 10 points, I'll take it before it goes to 14 probably, but we'll cover that on Degenerate Bets later this week. Now, Noah, let's go to door number 2 real quick. The biggest what is going on in this game of the week? The Iron Bowl. What was that?
It was
4
the Iron
overtimes?
Bowl. It was the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean,
I covered this when we were talking about it. I said that's why I took Auburn to cover that massive spread, is because I said crazy shit happens every year in the Iron Bowl. The Iron Bowl is never a normal football game.
No, it's not, dude. And here we are going into 4 overtimes, dude. 4 overtimes. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, dude. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah. Bama down 10-0 at the start of the fourth quarter, putting up 10 points in the fourth quarter to tie it and put it to overtime. And
you should have seen this guy at my bar. He, big Alabama fan, big Alabama bettor, put a big bet in on Alabama. Money line. Live, like when he got him at plus money and everything. Anyway. Oh, dude, I thought he was going to shit his pants about halfway through second overtime. Honest to God, dude. By the time he got to the 4th overtime, I was prepared to call him a goddamn ambulance if they didn't win. Shit was insane. Good for him that they fucking won, but can't wait for them to get stomped in the SEC championship game and bounce from the college football playoffs. I love to see that. Shout out BYU not covering against USC of all effing teams. I don't know how the hell you did that, but good job.
They made it a perfect 5-0 this season against Pac-12 teams.
They did. They did make it 5-0. They should have came to the Pac-12 and they would have actually given Lincoln Riley some competition. You know what I mean? But where did they end up? Big Ten?
What?
BYU. Didn't they move divisions?
They're moving to the Big 12.
Big 12, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, who are they missing? In Pac-12 South, at least, I think the only teams they didn't play were UCLA and Colorado, and they probably would have beat both.
And let's be real, they would have dog walked them. Dog walked them, bro.
Oh, I know. If BYU was in the Pac-12, probably Probably be rocking some undefeated record right now and hitting the playoff conversation.
Bro, honestly. And now, Noah, the game that we were obligated to bet on of the week, you've got U of A losing Arizona State 38-15 and not covering the spread. Well, glad that season's over because there was nothing good about it except the win, which still wasn't pretty.
Yeah. I mean, we should have covered too. This was, I mean, not necessarily a bad beat because there was enough time left on the clock, but the only points in the fourth quarter was a 87-yard pick six.
Oh, ridiculous! Yeah, I know. Goddamn.
But it's okay. The season's over. We didn't go winless, so
Yeah.
let's maybe try to pick up 3 wins next year, maybe even 4.
Honestly, I'll take 2. I'll take it.
Hey, slow but steady, baby steps, baby steps.
Baby steps. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Now, Noah, really quick before we wrap up here, we are going into championship weekend. Big weekend, obviously, for college football. It's one of the phrases I'm going to put in the title to try to spam YouTube and beat the algorithms. What should I be looking for? What are you looking for? What are you looking at before we get into this week and really dive deep into these games?
I mean, Friday you got Western Kentucky against UTSA. That game doesn't matter because UTSA not even undefeated anymore. They're going to fall out of the rankings. That one's a snooze fest. Oregon Utah got a rematch of game from a week ago.
Woohoo! Can't wait.
Yeah, winner of that going to the Rose Bowl, likely playing Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, which will be
likely getting murdered by Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
Although it would be fun to see Oregon Ohio State rematch.
I'd be a fan. I'd be okay with that.
I think Ohio State would be out for blood, beat them by 3 or 4 touchdowns. And then we got a few big ones and a lot of irrelevant games on Saturday.
Yep.
Obviously, in the morning, starting out with Baylor, Oklahoma State. That one is huge.
Ooh, yeah.
The playoff committee will be under a little more pressure with their decision. Oklahoma State, obviously, with aspirations of getting in. I mean, I think with a Bama loss, I think they jump in as that 4 seed.
That Bama game, I think, is what everyone is kind of looking for, waiting for, holding their breath. Because this Georgia team could beat them, and not only beat them, but dog walk them.
Well, and the interesting thing is, too, it could be potentially important how close this game is.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be very important how close this game is.
Because Bama has way more of a case if it's a 1-score loss than if they lose by 20 or 25 points. Then everyone's going to be saying, okay, Bama doesn't deserve, especially with how many close games they've played down the stretch. Bama, I think, at the very least needs to keep this to like a touchdown game.
I've been chit-chatting with my sources and everything on this because especially when I saw Alabama down early, I was like, hey, so 2 lost Bama before the SEC championship game. You still letting them in? Like, what's going on there? All I got was LOL. So I don't think they'll let a 2 loss Bama, and I don't know what they do there.
I think there's a scenario that they would. If Houston can pull off, if Houston can pull off the upset against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's out of the way, I think a 2-loss Bama team gets in.
Cincinnati's bounced, Michigan's in, Auburn's in.
Not Auburn?
I mean, Bama. I wish it was Auburn. Yeah.
I think a 2-loss Bama team gets in over a 1-loss Notre Dame. If you're looking at that. I don't think Notre Dame's been good enough or had like decisive enough wins to especially without that cherry on top with a conference championship because they're
Yeah.
not, they're an independent. I mean, obviously, Michigan, they beat Iowa, they're in. Things get very interesting if Iowa beats Michigan. Then
Chaos.
I don't. Then I think a Big Ten team still gets in, but it won't be Iowa. I because I don't think I don't think there's a scenario you can justify putting Iowa in there. But then it becomes I don't think you like. Do you put Michigan or do you put Ohio State in as like the 4 seed in that case? Or you have no Big Ten team, and then that really fucks things up. And then you're
Dude.
dealing with like Cincy, Georgia, Bama, and Oklahoma State, which would be fucking weird.
But what if Baylor
So
beats Oklahoma State?
I think it's a much harder case for Baylor at 2 losses to get in than Oklahoma State at 1.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Because
But dude, if Kent
if
State wins, I think everything kind of changes, you know?
yeah, if if
Hot take
if,
of the week.
if five loss Kent State wins the MAC,
Really shake the top 4 up, bro.
one game though that I'm actually like kind of excited about,
What
although
game, bro? Please let me hear it.
probably won't watch a whole lot of it because so kickoff's at 2:30 of the App State Louisiana Lafayette rematch. Louisiana Lafayette obviously
Yes.
dismantled Appalachian State in their first meeting. But who knows? I mean, App State coming in as a 3-point favorite.
Hey.
A little bit of a revenge game for them. And I guess other than that, I do think Houston has a chance to hand Cincy their first loss and just kill their playoff hopes. This Houston team's been playing really well.
What's that open at?
They're
Or I'll look at that. You keep going.
Houston's one loss of the season was their very first game against Texas Tech. They've rattled off 11 straight wins, and they're somehow only ranked 24th in the country right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they'll jump up when on Tuesday when we get our new rankings. They'll probably be, I don't know, in the like 18 to 20 range. But
Ooh.
this Houston team is hot. Like I said, they've won 11 straight games. Couple close ones, but for the most part, they have been blowing people out. And so that is a game. If I'm gonna put a team on upset watch this week, I think it's Cincinnati.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Although most of these spreads are a touchdown or less, which makes sense. They're conference championships. Other than you got that 10.5 point spread, obviously Michigan, Iowa opening up at 10.5 as well.
Yeah. So App State, Lafayette opened Lafayette 2.5 point favorite. It is already moved 4 points. Lafayette is now a 2.5 point dog.
Well, probably because their coach is leaving. He's probably
Yeah,
not
that has
coaching
to
that
be.
game. They probably have an interim coach, which
Interim
is
coach, yeah.
why that
Dude,
line
that
is
is so
changed by almost a
shitty.
whole touchdown.
That is so shitty.
Shitty for Louisiana, but opportunity for App State to get up to 11-2, get a conference championship, and
Really demolish it.
probably a slightly better bowl game.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, we have an exciting week of college football coming up, championship week, and we will be covering more of this coming up on Degenerate Bets College Football Championship Week edition. It's going to be a huge episode. Noah, I don't want to give away any, details or anything, but I think this might be our biggest episode yet.
All right.
That's all I get from you? All right. I announced that this is probably going to be the biggest show that we have ever done, and all I get from you is, all right.
Yeah.
Not even
see.
all right, all right, all right.
Oh,
You're killing me, bro.
Little McConaughey.
Little McConaughey, even though Texas is not back and never will be back.
Texas is not all right. They are.
Question, and then we will sign off.
They are not
Has
even bowl eligible.
McConaughey, has Texas been bowl eligible since McConaughey has been there?
I would assume so, yeah.
All right, that is something that we will cover. Wait for that stat because that is what we will open with on the next episode of Degenerate Takes.